Unit 7. Lesson 3. Activity A. Read. Reporter Chris Carr, a New York Post reporter, has turned from the open freedom of the youth conference to focus on Kurdistan, a part of the world that until recently was not free at all. Kurdistan's darkest hour. They say the darkest hour is the hour before dawn, and this is very true of Kurdistan. For the Kurds, the sun is now rising on a bright new day, but they will never forget their darkest hour, the years of death and destruction that Saddam Hussein brought them and all of Iraq. Before traveling to Kurdistan, I knew very little about the Anfal, Saddam's genocide against the Kurds that continued from 1979 to 1988. I had planned only to write about Kurdistan's recent rapid development, but that soon changed when I got here. On arriving in Erbil, my good friend, museum director Dr. Havel Shirtsad, kindly invited me home for dinner. While eating, we talked about the long history of the Kurdish people. I learned that although the Kurds had helped build one of the earliest human civilizations and they always suffered war and persecution. But, Dr. Havel went on, their worst persecution of all happened in very recent times. Because I knew very little about this, I asked him to tell me more. He asked whether I really wanted to hear about it, and I immediately said that I did. Well, he began, it's hard to talk about it. But I will, because you should know. Everyone should. And you can help us, too, if you write about the Anfal in your newspaper. I promised that I would. Then I listened as my friend quietly told me about atrocity after atrocity under Saddam's cruel government. I was horrified. First, in 1979 and 80, hundreds of thousands of Kurds in Arab areas simply disappeared. Then, in 1983, villages in Kurdistan were destroyed and 8,000 Bastanis were buried alive. In 1987 and 1988, Saddam used horrific chemical weapons, first on Sheikh Hassanan and Baluchistan and then on Halabja. In those same years there were also massacres in many other parts of Kurdistan. As a result of these actions, 182,000 people died and 5,000 villages were destroyed. Can all this really be true? I finally asked. Dr. Havel said nothing. Instead, he went and brought back a large box, which he opened in silence. I inquired what was in the box. Photos, he replied. These are photos of the Anfal from all over Kurdistan, and they are the answer to your question. They are the truth. He explained that the museum was collecting the photos for a permanent exhibition so that people would never forget what had happened. It'll be a memorial to all who suffered and died, he said. After letting me look at the terrible pictures for several minutes, he quietly said, if the world sees what really happened, then maybe, just maybe, humans will learn never again to do these terrible things to each other.